Freddie and I go back a long time. I can remember boxing for the John Bosco in Newry, and Freddie just got his medal in Melbourne in '56, and he visited our club in Newry. I was a small boy then, about 12 years of age, so my parents moved us to Belfast, and the John Bosco club was the club I was going to, and I went to Freddie's club in 1963. He was just training to fight Johnny Codwell back when I joined the club in '63. I stayed with Freddie. Freddie was my real. I followed Freddie, I copied of him. I used to watch him and he was training, and he was a southpaw. I was a southpaw. He was a friend of mine for a long time. I'll miss him. He used to come into the shop. I was his barber for years, and Johnny Codwell, his sparring partner. Johnny was I was his barber as well, you know. And the two of them never come in together, but I was hoping the two would come in together someday, you know, but it never ever happened. But I'll miss him. Freddie was a lovely man.
At those days, even at 7-year-old, I knew he was somebody that I wanted to emulate and try and be as good as. You know.
What do you think's his legacy that he's left for local boxing?
Oh, he'll always be a name in boxing. Always, just as John Caldwell will always be a name in boxing. His name's engraved in memory for all time, I would say, you know.
Well, I went up the Mountain View to see Freddie. I'm an Ardoyne man, an ex-professional boxer. I went up to see Freddie to see if he would let me watch the Caldwell fight, his fight with Johnny Caldwell. And he said, son, I can't lend you it, but I'll bring you in and you can watch it with me. And that's how we became friends. And we went in and watched the fight. And then a few years later, I got a copy of Eddard Joffrey, a couple of his fights, the great bantamweight. He was a rival of Freddie's. And I brought them up to Freddie's house and we sat and we watched the fights, two fights with Joffrey. And Freddie says I'd have knocked him out after we watched him. But me and Freddie were the best of friends. He means so much to Ardoyne, an absolute legend. The only thing, he was robbed of an Olympic gold medal and he was robbed of being world bantamweight champion. And if he'd have got to the decisions in them two fights, which he should have, he would have been up there with the top 3 greatest boxers ever come out of Ireland. But in my opinion, he is in the top 3 or in the top 5 greatest boxers ever to come out of this country.
Well, I mean, I'm of a generation which, when I was started off in young amateur boxing days, right back in the 60s, I mean, Freddie Gilroy was up there in lights. He was one of our world champion heroes, really. And he remained a hero right through, as Father Peter said this morning, right through this very day. He remains one of our very important boxing heroes. Lovely man, lovely Bernie. Spoke to her yesterday, spoke this morning again. So my personal condolences to Bernie and the rest of the family on the passing of Freddie Gilroy. He's a legend in our minds. He's a legend in the city of Belfast. He's represented his country, amateur and professional. He's done a great job, and I have to say he's left a really abiding memory for all of us.